Hey guys, check out this new light I got so you can really see my face. So we got just a few questions this morning. Sorry, I know it's early. It's 8 a.m. Eastern, just coming from the gym, and then I'm leaving the house for the day. Million things to do. I wasn't going to make noon, so I wanted to make sure I got this in. A few things from you guys, but first I want to talk about our, let me get up all of the details, our 7-day Cue That Tune challenge. So I talked about it a little bit last week, so I won't dwell on it too much. I do want to put I always forget to do this, the sign up link right in the comments for you guys. We are starting on the 24th, Monday. It will go for 7 days. I'm basically what it's going to be is a separate group for anyone that's interested as part of my crew. If you want to join, it'll be free. Basically what we're going to do, sorry, let me get this sign up. Every day I'll post a song, and I want to see what you guys can come up with for how to cue it, how to lead people through it, what your profile would be for that song. You can either post a video showing me what you would do with it, or you can write in detail. I want detail. I don't want just, a couple words or whatever. I want this to be really helpful for everyone involved. So I think it's super important, and I say this all the time, that you guys go and visit other instructors, go to other instructors' classes, see what's going on outside of what you do regularly, because that's how we learn. And I think that this challenge would be a really cool way to do that, because you'll see a song and you'll probably have an immediate idea as to what you would do with it, and somebody else might have a totally different idea, and it might kind of, trigger some new thoughts in your head and new things, new ideas for your classes, new things that you can do. So I think it'll be really helpful for you guys to go through this. But I also, for the winner, I'm going to give you a few of my class profiles that I'm making on the back end. So I'm trying to make, I think I'll have 3 of them. I'm probably going to do some intervals, maybe an endurance interval-based class, and then something else just to give a little variety. And I'll try to include some cues in those as well. So it will be a pretty sweet package. If you don't win the challenge, you can still buy it. I'll make it like $10 or something like that. But if you win, you get it for free. So it will be a really helpful educational week for anyone who wants to join. And you also have the chance to win some free profiles. So I think it's pretty awesome. I'm pretty pumped. Again, starting the 24th. So let me put that, I think I have the sign up link. If you want to, I just popped it in the comments. You can sign up through that link, get on the list. You'll get the details when we're about to start. Again, it'll be the 24th, so you got some time. But basically all you have to do is check into, we'll have a separate group, which will also be cool, because I think I have some rock stars in here who are very involved, and to get you guys in kind of a little separate group where you're all going to be participating a lot and helping each other, I think will be cool. Nothing wrong with being a lurker. You still learn that way, but some people want that engagement, and I think we can get it with a little bit of a smaller group. So sign up through that link. I'll throw you into that private group probably later this week, early next week, before the challenge starts, and then we'll get rolling. And if it goes well, we can do stuff like this again. So you guys can let me know. But again, free to join. Just get in there. We'll do it. Winner gets some class profiles and some cues, and we'll see how it goes. And yeah, so I'm really pumped. I think it'll be fun. Now, my problem is I have to pick the songs. So they gotta be good. Man, I'm gonna have to start thinking about that. All right, anyways, let's hop into this. We just have a couple things this morning. Let me pull up our questions. First one was from Katie. She was asking about HIIT training and asked how I time in and out of it. So there's a lot of, you can use the clock. Some people even have screens in their classes, and they have the timer up there. You can use the Tabata songs or training songs that count down. You can overlay. They have apps that you can overlay the countdown into your music. Personally, and this is going to be totally personal, up to you if you want to do that or not, I'm not a fan of having anybody but me counting in and out of the intervals. I used to use those Tabata songs with the voice overlaid or have the countdowns. I feel like it's very distracting for people. I want them to be focused on what I'm telling them, what I'm cueing them, and if they have to look up at the clock or they have to listen to the song in addition to listening to me, I feel like it just throws off the vibe in the class. Now, again, that's totally personal. You might love that. Your class might love that, and that's totally cool. Personally, I don't like to do it. I like to count in and out myself. I also don't really do Tabata or very structured intervals. I base it on, whatever I'm planning for that day. So like I did Barricade by Axwell yesterday, and it's not, perfectly timed, but with that heavy beat, which I think, Katie, I think you said you use, punchy EDM or dance songs. It's kind of like that. So I think I did 15-second on and off pushes 4 times, and then there's a little break, and then we did 2 more at the end. So it was like a heavy hill push out of the saddle. It was awesome. People did great with it. I'll probably do something different next time I use that song, but I think it's a really good song for intervals. So you can, I think you said you play longer instrumental songs, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, 20, 40, that's perfect. Stuff like that is perfect. I think it's easier to count in and out yourself when it's something like that. I really like, again, this is personal, I really like using something where there's either a beat drop or a song, the melody changes, something changes in the music so that not only I can cue better, but they hear it. So people can hear, changes in music. They can hear, they know when something's coming, when that build is coming, and then the beat drops. They can hear it too. So even though you're still cueing them, they're kind of getting ready for it. If it's just kind of a steady song and you're cueing in and out of it, which is fine, especially if you're doing a lot of intervals, but it's a little bit harder for them to hear. So I like to have something where there's also a change in the music when I'm changing what we're doing. If I'm doing more intervals for a longer amount of time and I need that long song, then yes, I definitely use like an instrumental, and it's, a longer song without words, no lyrics, just beats that I can cue in and out of easily. So I know that was kind of an all over the place answer. It really depends on your preference. I think it's, again, totally fine to use the clock or use music with those countdowns if that's what you like. And people like different stuff. I used to teach, again, with songs like that, and people loved it. They looked forward to it every day because they knew exactly what was coming. But at the same time, I didn't really need to be there if the song's doing all the work for me, right? So I wanted to be more involved in it, and I think that's why I kind of stray away from it. But totally up to you. I think it's also good to vary it, do different things. Don't always stick to doing, those long instrumentals or those punchy songs. See how you can mix it up. And that's what we can learn in that Cue That Tune challenge. Maybe I'll throw one of those songs in there and see how people would. Actually, that's good. I'm going to do that. Anyways, we could talk about HIIT training all day. I think there's a lot to that, and I will continue. As you guys have more specific questions about it, I will continue to answer those. I know we've already had a couple in Hoerner Happy Hours, but these are good because I think there's a lot of confusion around HIIT training and a lot of confusion as to how to implement it correctly. So let's continue to talk about this stuff. That's a really good question, Katie. Thank you for that. Stephanie asked, how do you recover when you can't find your playlist? So I'm not totally sure what you meant by that, Stephanie. Like you're getting to class and you just can't find it, but you have other music, or you have, no access to, I don't know what that meant. I'm assuming what you meant is, yes, you're getting to class and you open up your computer and your playlist that you made just isn't there. I would use a playlist from the previous week or something that I'm familiar with that was relatively recent that I can just use, unless you're having like a ton of regulars, and even then they're okay once in a while repeating a playlist. I try not to do it, but if you're in a bind, I think it's totally fine. If you can't find any playlists and all you have is access to music and you don't really know like what to do, I would say that's hard. That's stressful. First and foremost, find songs that you know really, really well. Because if you have to make it up on the fly, you want to be able to know at least what's coming next in the song. So maybe you know when the chorus is going to hit, so you can do some sort of interval on the chorus. Or maybe you know this song is a really heavy, slow beat, so that's going to be a hill. So if you have to put together your playlist on the fly. And guys, by the way, I've seen this before. I've gone to classes where the instructor did not prepare anything, and she was picking and choosing songs throughout the class, like nothing planned. It looks real bad if you're a rider and you're seeing how unprepared an instructor is. Now, again, Stephanie, this is not what you're asking. Obviously, you prepared and it just wasn't there. It is possible to still teach. It's just going to be a little jumbled. You're going to be a little stressed. It's going to be you're going to be a little frazzled. It's okay. Do your best. I mean, if it's a one-off thing, people will forgive you for it. You just roll with it. You tell them. I would be honest. I'd be like, guys, technical difficulties today. We're going to have some fun with this. I'm going to have to, mix and match as we go. Let's, be there with me. It's going to be great. Like, let's, whatever. But, people understand once in a while. I wouldn't worry too much. I would just, like I said, find songs that you know so that you can at least cue your best, or use an old playlist if you have access to that. So hopefully that was helpful. I'm not totally sure what you were asking there. So come back and ask me if you want. Jesse, warm-up music. Oh, that's a good question, Jesse. Jesse asked in the comments for warm-up music, when just doing a seated flat in the very start, would you suggest a not super upbeat? I don't know if that made any sense. Sorry if you just said. No, that's a good question. Warm-up is totally varied for me. So I use my warm-up song. I always choose it within, a flat. I want it to be a comfortable pace because we're warming up. So it's usually anywhere from like 85 to a little over 100. And it will very much depend on if you did CPM, which I don't think you did, but my emotional theme for the day. So my tone that I want to set, I set with that warm-up song. So it could be super upbeat. Maybe it's like Can't Stop the Feeling, or what is that? Yeah, Can't Stop the Feeling by JT if I'm in like a super upbeat mood. Or maybe, I think I did Happier the other day, that new song. Why can't I remember who sings? Is it Bastille? Which is a little bit like quieter and a little bit more of a little bit more easing into, where is it? That's going to drive me crazy, guys. Well, whatever. It's a newer song, so I'm sure you guys, Marshmallow and Bastille. I did that the other day. I like easing into it at the beginning, like the first minute of the warm-up song is never crazy, but then a beat comes in later so that we can start doing little pushes of speed to warm them up a little bit more. But I think it depends on what you feel for the day and what you want class to feel like. If you want to kind of ease them in with like a story or tell them, some inspirational stuff before you get started, then maybe a slower song that eases into a little bit more beat. Or maybe you would just want to get the party started. Maybe it's like a night class and you want to get everyone riled up and you want to go right into it. I think warm up, you have a lot of flexibility to do whatever you want. It's gotta get you warmed up too. I've learned that over the years. If I put on a song that I'm not totally feeling and it's the start of my class, I can't get myself into it. So it has to be, and I've a million times, I've gone, 10 minutes before class, changed my warm-up song like 20 times. It's got to be something that really gets you going, because if you're getting going, if you're getting your energy, they'll get their energy. So think about it that way. Think about what you're feeling like today. Like today, it's kind of crappy out. It's rainy. It's not great. I would probably choose something that, like I said before, kind of eases into it, and then that beat drops later to give them a little bit of speed, get them a little bit more warmed up, but to each their own. So it'll be a totally unique thing to you, if that made any sense at all. Good question, though. Amy, oh my God, Amy, I hear you. I think, you guys, one of the worst things about being an instructor is that the places that we teach don't necessarily consider that any little mishap will totally throw us off and ruin a class, because we're kind of, especially a lot of the places I taught in the past, they just expect you to figure it out. Something might be broken and then no one tells anyone. So I come into class the next day, it's still broken and I have to figure it out. I have had broken mics where I've had to yell. That very common. Many times had to do that. I've had the sound not work a million times. The mic screeches. I just wrote a blog on that, by the way, because it's a very common issue. If your mic is screeching or your sound is echoing or your voice is muffled, it's usually something to do with the placement of your speakers and things like that. Check it out. You know what? I can place it here. But I think sound issues are like the worst thing ever, and we all go through them. Sometimes, I went once and there was just no key to the spin room, and no one had one, so I just couldn't do class. It took us 20 minutes to find a key to open the room. Baffling. There's just so many things that can go wrong. I think we just have to learn to go with the flow, figure it out as we go. And you know what? The cool thing, though, about Stephanie, something like that, or Amy, when the equipment doesn't work, all that stuff, when you go through it once or twice or a few times, you start to just get used to the fact that there's issues, and it doesn't frazzle you as much. You know, something goes wrong, whatever, you roll with it and you deal with it. And once you have a few of those under your belt, I know it sounds crazy, but it gets easier to deal with the chaos of things going wrong. So think of it as, okay, you got one of those under your belt, so next time it will be a little bit easier. That's how I try to see it. Jesse, I worry about my song at the start. It's too much for a warm-up talk through. Yeah, Jesse, that's why I was saying, back to that warm-up song, Jesse said that she's worried her warm-up song might be too much to talk through. That's why I was saying I like songs that kind of ease into it. So you'll find a lot of songs like this too, like Happier, the one I was mentioning before. It starts slower, and then it builds later. Once the chorus hits, it kind of takes off. I like that a lot because it gives you that chance to talk through the warm-up, get them kind of set, and then the beat comes in and wakes them up a little bit. So that's like the ideal song. I'll try to remind me, like post in here if you think of it. I'll try and post a few more songs if I can dig through a bunch of warm-up songs that I can try and give you as examples. Yeah, it does get easier every time, Amy. All right, guys, I think that's all we got today. Make sure, like I said, this is the last Hoerner Happy Hour. No, we got one more next week before the challenge starts. But get your name on that list. I posted it in the comments up at the top, 7-day Cue That Tune challenge. It's going to be really fun. I think it'll kind of get you guys excited about teaching, not like you're not, but it'll get some ideas flowing, and I think it'll really, give everyone that extra oomph that they need in their classes. It's going to be fun. So get in there, September 24th. We got some time. And I guess I'll see you next week for Hoerner Happy Hour again. If you guys have questions, as always, ask them in the group and I'll get back to you. All right, guys, have a great rest of your week. See you later.